Hey guys, this is here bringing you another video and welcome to a viewer spectate. I did mention over the festive period you might get a couple of challenger spectates and maybe a one or two viewer spectates. Hello Maya. It's worth knowing when it comes to challenge spectates, I will just say today is December the 18th. You're getting this as today's second video, and as of right now I have got, I think, up until December 28th uploaded, and they're 2 gameplay videos every single day. So there is actually no more challenger spectates I've done yet. I might do one more, maybe. But what will be nice is in the next couple of days, I should tomorrow realistically get all the content I need to have fully prepped for the Christmas break. And then I might be able to just focus on doing a couple fun videos, a Marvel Rivals video, and it'll be extra content. You know, there might be 2 videos uploaded on Huzzy Games some days and 2 videos uploaded on Huzzy Extra some days. I can't play right now, Maya. But today we are watching Mr. Ace. Obviously, if you've been watching viewer spectates the last couple of years, Ace has probably been the highest person when it comes to the amount of viewer spectates. He likes them. He likes to try and learn about the game. He likes to try and get better, which is cool. And he does try to, you know, play different roles here and there. He is playing Mr. Kayn. So I would say Kayn is a very good champion to use in SOLOQ. I will say today I recorded a game of Echo, and the theme of that was, you know, it's actually the matchup in this game, Echo versus Kayn, that even though they are somewhat assassin-y type champions, they are very forgiving. Both of these champions are very forgiving, and even if you're having a not amazing game as Kayn or not an amazing game as Echo, you can actually achieve a lot more than a typical assassin. The thing with Kayn, even more than Echo, is Kayn, obviously, for an assassin-based champion, obviously can go more of a bruiser build, which, you know, he can still do a lot of damage, has a lot of survivability, he's got gets CC, and that's going red Kayn, and I believe that's what Ace does in this game. And I'd say in 80% of your matchups, 80% of SOLOQ games, red is probably better, because red does an incredible amount of damage still, and it gives you so much more survivability. Where blue, I'd say, is definitely worth it. Couple things. One, if you're smurfing, so if you're going to get fed, if you're going to get an early lead and you're gonna snowball, yeah, blue Kayn probably is better overall. Early gank, I would say not probably something I would even go for. Again, it doesn't seem like a lot, and maybe you were just showing to be like, hey, I'm here, don't be too aggressive, Lux. That might be the thought, but realistically there's not a lot you'd be able to do. You're not going to be able to kill that Lux. She's very safe. She has a flash available. I'd just really focus on doing, when it comes to your first clear, do it as quick as possible. Because as long, well, at level 1, not sure if Ace noticed, but there was a ward put down here. That was likely, that was flashed by Lux, by the way. That was likely Echo, but now again, because of replays, we're actually hearing echoes on here. So one thing I would say when it comes to the jungle, try to find out. And, you know, we're using the viewership when it comes to Ace. Everything that is on the minimap is only from what Ace himself can see. The vision that red team has. So I would always try to get a bit of early scouting and see where the enemy jungler is starting, because it just gives you information. You know, half the battle when it comes to jungling, whether you are the jungler or whether, you know, you're a laner and you're against a jungler, is knowing where they are. And a really good jungler, so like one thing that Ace should be trying to do, and when you're jungling, you have downtime, right? Because you're a lot of jungling is just PvEing. You're not actively PvPing all the time, so you get downtime. You know, there's not last hitting in the jungle as the same in lane. You know, there's not another, you know, neutral monster that can steal the last hit from you. So with that, you should always try to, I don't know if this would be something that I would do. Again, going into the more is knowledge is power. So when it comes to where you are as a jungler, knowing where the enemy jungler is very important, but also trying to kind of keep yourself hidden is also important. Walking into lane and not really doing a gank, you're just letting the enemy know where you are. Here's a good gank though. Unfortunately, Gragas didn't seem to be really ready for it. And Gragas is now dead. I would fully commit to try and kill this Lux. Flash and everything. She doesn't have flash. You should know that potentially. I potentially would have flashed that if you had the reaction to. Ew, and she does get a double. So yeah, a little bit of misplay going in there. Flashing the Q was needed. Just to say what level of game this is like a bronze game. I think Ace right now is bronze 2 on EU West. So yeah, that's the first thing I would say. When it comes to just walking in bot lane. And then, you know, we are in bronze, so it's not like the highest rank, so maybe it doesn't matter that much. But you should always strive to play the best you possibly can. So half the battle when it comes to jungle is where's the enemy jungler, etc, etc. So never just walk into a lane if you can help it and just give them that information. Because you're just giving them the information that they are... Well, the enemy team should be trying to seek that out. Don't give it to them for free, basically, is what I have to say. So stayed quite a long time in base, and unless the replays bug, no purchase. Not sure if you were thinking about staying for an item, but one thing you would always see whenever we've done a challenger spectate of jungle, whenever I try to jungle, I'm not the best jungler, you know, I'm a bit rusty in the jungle nowadays, but I'm trying to get a bit back into it, is what you'll notice with jungling specifically, because of the unique nature of the role, I can hear Maya cooing downstairs, is downtime. You don't have downtime, or like try not to. So it's either you're farming constantly, or you're ganking. It's one of the two. Don't be just, you know, it's where like some junglers just standing in a bush trying to get a gank off for 2 minutes. Never do that. Like, you never want to be achieving nothing. And that's why when I jungle, I hate basing, because basing is me not achieving things. And anyway, I'll be right back because Maya's being a pain downstairs, so I'll pause it so you won't miss anything. But yeah. Okay, I'm back. She needed a pee even though she had one half an hour ago. Anyway, these have spawned. The Alawi actually starts them, which is interesting. I wouldn't, as an Alawi top lane, go and do these yourself because, well, especially against a Nasus, you don't want to give him free Qs. And leaving him in lane is giving him free Qs. Lux is nearby. Focus that one on the right. Focus it. Okay, well, Alawi ult's coming down. That's actually quite interesting. Big fight happening. Nasus very little mana. If I was Ace, I would just focus that and leave. You're not going to win the fight. Disengaging is now. Gragas is doing a bit too much because, again, Gragas hasn't had the best game, obviously, so he's probably overplaying. Honestly, that's not a bad situation. I think they got all three. They got all three. The Alawi goes down. That's not too bad. I would just back away right now. I think doing anything more would be over-greeding, and sometimes we say the term overplaying. The Gragas is doing that right now. He's 0-3. He's not had a very good game. Ace staying in the area. And the enemy team is all still here. Oh, dearie. It's all still here. Kayn, he hasn't got flash available. Obviously, Lux is overfed right now. And it's going to be another kill. Yeah. That's just simply doing too much. Knowing your limits is a very big thing with League of Legends. And obviously, again, I don't know if replay is a bug. We'll see if Ace buys item. If he doesn't buy an item right now, obviously, it means it's bugged. Okay, pickaxe first item. Okay, not bugged. So yeah, that was just overplaying. Having the 3 scuttles, I know it's really tempting when people are low, and it's like, oh my god, they're low, we could maybe hit something here or there. But sometimes you just need to cut your losses and just be happy with what you get. Like, you get 3 of the scuttles, the enemy team get none, they kill your Alawi, but that's still not bad. You know, in the grand scheme, that's not a bad thing at all. And my puppies is very much attention-seeking right now. So, as for comp, by the way, the likely way of this game, I imagine top lane is going to be more typical top lane. I don't see Alawi grouping that much. I don't see Nasus grouping that much. It would be a surprise if they do. Echo and Kayn have similarities between them. Both obviously will group, but also be looking for those picks, especially on immobile targets. Now, the one thing I would say is the Echo is actually probably going to struggle a lot more in this game because who's the target an Echo can go on? Eventually, he can't really go on an Alawi. He can't really go on a Red Kayn easily. He shouldn't really be able to go on a Gragas, because Gragas is like the anti-mobility champion. Swain, again, if he's in his ultimate, then you're going into a big demon bird chicken lord that will murder you, potentially. And then Taric, again, brings CC and immunity. So Echo could really struggle this game. Annoyingly, a Lux being obviously already 6-0, is quite good for the enemy team, because what red team is very strong at is melee. They're very melee centric, that if the red team is on top of you, it's going to be really hard for blue team to do anything, because they have a lot of CC, they have decent damage, a lot of regen, a lot of healing, and that's going to be really hard for blue team to deal with. So gank coming in, but obviously Wither is such a powerful tool. I'd always, as Kayn, or any jungler for that matter with mobility, always look to like cut off an exit. So if the target is in the middle of the lane, realistically, most, 9 times out of 10, they're going to try and run left. In this instance, or if you swapped it, they'd run right, but they'd try to run to their tower. So if you come from if you can, like a Kayn could run into a wall, if you come from the angle where their escape route is, the chance of success of a gank does go up. So what I would say as well, Ace has left his blue side up for a very long time. Min-maxing and maximizing your clear, again, is quite important in the jungle. So I wouldn't be leaving the blue side alone for like 3-4 minutes. Countering and going for stealing is very good. Again, Echo might have done it on you, but stealing and doing something like this is a good thing for Kayn, because Kayn is one of the best junglers, realistically, to steal, because his, oh god, I'm in trouble, I'm just going to run into a wall. So this is a good decision from Ace, but again, he should be prioritizing his own clear a bit more. Where I think maybe the mind does go is these have just spawned again. So if I had to take a guess, I'd imagine Ace is thinking, oh, I can maybe go and do them again. So he's going to come for a gank. Here we go. Illaoi ultimate, Nasus ultimate. They should be able to kill this Nasus. Just keep pressing on that W, miss Illaoi. And slam. Kayn ultimate coming through. Not really a lot of damage. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to get the kill. And that might be a double kill. It is. So yeah, enemy team is getting basically the fights that Ace himself is taking. He keeps taking fights against the enemies that are having a good game. So the Nasus is having a good game, the Lux is having a good game, and they're the people that Ace is trying to fight. But the problem is his teammates, the ones that are having a rough game, are the ones that are fighting with him, and they don't quite have the damage. There's one of the negatives of Kayn, just as a champion, is he's not really a champion until he hits his form. But obviously, yeah, this amount of fighting is good. This is a decent amount of fighting. He wants to go red Kayn. He's been mainly fighting, a Nasus and Echo, a bit of luck. But he's got a lot of XP already in terms of probably transforming. There the Void Grubs die. So yeah, that's the thing. I would say when it comes to Kayn specifically, he's an incredibly powerful champ. What I would say to Ace himself is don't risk as much early. Again, he's an incredible powerful tool for SOLOQ, but you don't need to risk the early game. He's a pretty damn good scaling champion, and I think the playstyle so far has been too high risk. Especially the early plays you can try to go for. If they work, you snowball. But when it hasn't worked, rein in a little bit. Don't continuously go for the targets that are very high risk, is what I would say. Now, obviously, the thing with the Nasus there, I will say, there's not much more Ace could have done as Kayn. Realistically, if the Illaoi used her W on the Nasus, not his ghost, at one stage, I think the Nasus would have died. I think it was that close. So that's not really on Ace, that was more the Illaoi. So notice, by the way, this is blue side. It's alive. So Echo hasn't run in here unless he's run in there, killed it all, and it's all respawned, which is unlikely. Running back to base and gets Eclipse. I would say getting Eclipse, you can clear these two. So when it comes to, oh, I want a base, I'd always, as a jungler, if you're actively in your jungle, I would always finish the camps that you have around. You did blue, I would have done that, because, again, it's all about that downtime of, oh, you go back to base. Well, in that downtime, those are respawning. You're breaking down the timers of them respawning, but you're not killing them. They're just sitting there. You're not accumulating as much gold, as much farms as possible if you're leaving them up. So I would say always, at least if you're planning to go back and you're in your own jungle, finish the camps around you. Even if, yeah, you can get an item, finish the camps around you. The only, I'd say, exception to the rule is, oh god, we've got dragon up in 40 seconds. Oh, I can go back right now, buy an item, and get there for dragon. That's kind of the only exception. And obviously that wasn't what just happened. And yes, you want to get your item, you want to get your full item, but it's worth saying that. It is worth saying, some people are like, dude, this is a 14-1 kill advantage to the enemy team. Ace himself has told me this does turn into quite an interesting game. You can kind of see how the early game has gone rough. Obviously, the Gragas, unfortunately, has been a bit outmatched by the Lux. The Illaoi's having a rough time with Nasus, and Ace, obviously, it's been a bit rough in the early game. Is it recoverable? Yes. Why is this game recoverable? Well, it's exactly... Oh, that should be a kill. Go, go, go. That's a kill. That's a kill. That's a kill. Kill the Lux. Good Kayn ult. Go left. Wonderful. 1,000 gold bounty. This is why it is recoverable. And I would say it's because of the enemy comp. Ah, shame. The enemy comp literally went about it earlier. They are going to really struggle against red team. Because any in melee play, you're going to fight an in melee play against... I would not continue that, potentially. It's a bit too much. Ooh, I would just run away. Again, run away. If your team does anything more fantastic, you're too low. Maybe you can look for a W. Echoes uses ultimate there. Oh, again, everyone's being too greedy. The Lux is back alive. Always keep track of that. That's a really greedy base. Because right now, you have to think, especially the low rating you are... In high rating, the Lux will like, screw, I'm just going to go back to mid and power farm. The low rating you go, people want kills. That is the be and end all, especially in low rating. So this Lux has spawned. I'm going to wager something. She's actually gone to mid. I was actually going to wager, oh, she'll be probably like here. She actually does probably, I would say, the right thing. If the Lux ran bot lane, she might have get a kill or two. But yeah, no, the Lux actually, I'd say, did the right thing there. Because running to mid is guaranteed income. She's just died. That won't feel good. First death. So the Lux did the right thing of actually going back to mid. Because the play was, dissipating. She might have a TP up. If she did, maybe that was worth her TPing. But, yeah. Anyway, massive shutdown. Red Kayn has now been achieved, by the way. We'll say the Echo involved in that fight hadn't had a full item. He's obviously going Lichbane first. Again, I played a game of Echo today. I wouldn't go Lichbane first in most games. I'd actually go the Rocket Belt, whatever the hell it's called nowadays. This could be a good play. Nice stun. I would go. The amount of CC that you bring with Tarek and him, you give Swain his opening. So Misfortune is just running up. Yep, commit to go for the Tam Kench. And obviously with being red now, having your item, you actually do some decent damage, and boom, another kill. So the game, is slowly getting back. The one also thing that you can't really, Lux is not a great carry in Modern League. I'd actually go for this Lux. 100%. I'd go for that Lux. She has no mobility. She doesn't have flash. That would be, to me, 100%. So I don't think Ace caught that. I don't think Ace caught, the Lux was like here. I think he could have got that kill. He might get it if he dodges a Q. Not enough. Lowy's actually coming in, which is a bit insane. I wouldn't go for a tower dive right now. But yeah, so comp-wise, their comp is very good. It's going to be a struggle, I would say, a bit in top lane, because both of them are stat stick champs. There's not much mechanics between a Nasus and a Lowy. A Lowy has more mechanics, because she has to hit the E. But when you're having a bad game on something like an Alawi, and you're against something like a Nasus, well, if you simply don't do enough damage as an Alawi, even if you hit your E, and you're both just standing still like a wet noodle fight hitting each other, and Nasus will just bonk you to death, So it is sometimes rough to have a bad game in a kind of wet noodle, bruisery tank fight in top lane. But Ace himself has recovered his game a little bit. Again, has kept up in okay amount of farm, which is good. And again, could have even been better, because, leaving the whole blue side for 4 or 5 minutes, he could have had 20 more farm by now, at least. Maybe even more, because each camp is giving you 4 minions. He probably missed 2, maybe 3 clears when it comes to rotation and respawn timers in what he missed in not doing it. So yeah, he realistically could have had like 20 plus more farm at this stage of the game, which, is a decent amount. Do the Wolves. So again, coming over to try and save this, I don't mind it, per se. Go back and do the Wolves. Again, so, is he going? So, reminding everybody, if I'm not mistaken, again, memory could be rusty in how jungle works nowadays in some aspects, but I think I'm right. Jungle camps level up, and they get, I believe, worth more gold as the game goes on, but they only get that level up as they respawn. So if you leave a jungle camp just there and you never kill it, it never respawns, it never gets an increase. So those wolves, I think Ace has only killed 1 set of wolves, maybe 2 this entire game. I'd be very careful right now. It's not worth trying to 2v1. And just get out of there. He's going to eat you, and then you're going to die. Not worth that fight at all. That was never going to be a worthwhile fight. You weren't going to win it. Obviously, on current patch, Tam Kench is still broken. and he has his heart steals. He had it actually a little while, so yeah, I definitely wouldn't have taken that fight. Obviously, knowing your limits is always important. Ace is new to Kayn. You know, he's fairly new to Kayn, so he might at this stage still be learning the limits of Kayn, because we've all seen Kayns kind of just go, okay, he just 1v3'd or 1v4'd, you know, he killed 2 of them and then survived. Yeah, that Kayn has to know his limits. Ace is learning the limits, but yeah. And then Swain just does the exact same thing, by the way. So Swain jumps in. Swain didn't even use his ultimate, so he just got a bit caught. So they are massively spam pinging the Alawi for some reason. Not really sure why, but they are. From memory, this game has got another just under 15 minutes to go. So they are still quite far behind. Gold-wise, it probably isn't as much gold. Like, in the grand scheme, only about a 3,000 gold lead for blue team isn't actually that much. You know, you look at that score, you know, towers, it feels like has been mainly on the enemy team, but it's actually even, believe it or not, 3 towers apiece. Oh, I'd go top lane right now. I'd ignore this camp. This is again another time. Alawi's here. You've seen Lux is out of position. I'd instantly go and help that Alawi, but it's going to be too late, and Alawi's dead again. So again, the Alawi's making some very poor decisions, and it's not Ace's fault for that. I need to sneeze potentially. Excuse me. Maybe one more. I always sneeze in pairs. But yeah, it's not Ace's fault for the Alawi playing the way that she is. I'd always say, like, you know, you're 0-6 now. Oh, I'd go for this. 100%. But I think right there, again, it's still bugged. Nice, good dodge with your ultimate. What just happened there, by the way? Lux was actually TPing. TP is still visually bugged on replays, but Lux was TPing, so that was a free kill. Also, a nice flash. So, like, Lux shouldn't have flashed. She should have just accepted the death at that point. She panicked. Probably, obviously, not expecting a Kayn. But that's a nice little kill. So both deaths for the Lux have actually been from Ace, which is good. Obviously, these type of games were both your solo laners, the Gragas and Ace! Oh my god, what? So red team just aced blue team, by the way. So obviously Ace killed Lux, so that's 1. And then, yeah, they had a fight and they won. I think the Gragas was basically, well, the Gragas was the sole victim, I believe, from that, if you're not including the Alawi, because that was kind of before the fight happened. But yeah, so again, it's winnable. In a normal instance, when it would say, you know, the enemy team was so far ahead, a 6-0 Lux at one point, I think a 4-0 Nasus, most games, it would be more or less over. Please, okay, the Wolves have died, by the way, which is good. But I would say, and I don't know if that's what Ace was like holding on to, and I don't know these players are holding on to. You know, we've not seen a surrender vote. I'm not sure we get them, but we haven't seen one at least. But comp, when you look at comp, red team legit has so many good answers to blue. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone that overextended. I would definitely say at this stage, Ace is still learning Kayn. And he's learning, when can I go for it? Is it a good idea? All these things I think are happening. I don't think this fight is bad now. It's worth knowing for Red, because Nasus has actually used his ult. Lux got killed straight away because she's an immobile mage. So yeah, you can see red team is walking over them. Swain is having a free massive team fight. This is just competitive. This is literally, you know, right before your eyes. This is just competitive. This team in a melee situation, you're right, pup, cannot deal. Blue team cannot deal with red team's full melee prowess in team fights. And that's even, that's a big yawn. That's even with, you know, Ace not really getting involved in that specific fight. It's just they can't. Like, their only power in melee is Echo, which again, he has no target that he can just walk in and one-shot realistically. Wait, what the hell is going on here? Okay, if I was Ace and I'm the jungler, even though I myself probably disagree with this Baron myself, you should be there. Like, this is a crazy Baron, by the way. Like, you ace them, great, but they've all spawned. Like, they're all back alive at this stage. They're not dead. This is a crazy Baron. I would ditch this Baron right now and just force another fight. Force another fight. Really nice by Mr. Swain there. Tam's going absolutely mental all in. Swain, again, this is the point, doesn't have his ultimate back. But like, you've just had a big fight. Swain, your main team fight, he has it back now, but you're starting the fight before. Alawi goes down. We need Swain to start his ulti. So there's a group here. We need Swain to ulti. If I was Ace, I would really just help. Good CC on the Nasus. Again, a Nasus CC doesn't really do a lot. I would really just keep helping him, because if the Nasus dies, fundamentally you win the fight. Swain's actually just ignoring the Nasus. Nice by Ace, double kill. And again, this is the problem. Lux does finish off the Swain, but again, Lux just can't hyper carry. It's just not the champ that she is anymore. She's never been a hyper carry. I'd say the reason, if you're wondering why do I think Lux struggles, it's kind of the reason why, well, it's mainly the champion. Nice stun into the W, and Taric ult not needed, but nice kill nonetheless. Basically, the thing with Lux, in terms of similarities of champions that she's similar to, she has less absolute carry presence than them, because a few years ago there was a massive debate: is Lux better in support or is she better mid? And initially she was balanced towards mid, and that's where I was like, oh, I don't like Lux support because she's balanced towards mid. But people kept playing it, so Riot basically conceded and they started balancing Lux to more support. She's not fully support because they still want to enable mid lane Lux, but when you have a champion that's giving shields to her team and part of her strength, you know, think of a champion as 100% in terms of their strength battery. Part of the battery has to go here, part of the battery has to go there. Part of her strength battery is in her W, which isn't helping in carrying at all. She isn't a hyper carry. You know, she can do good work, she can carry games, but she, you know, a Xerath being 11-4, a Syndra being 11-4 with same CS would be much more powerful at this stage of the game. A Victor, you know, a Kassadin, they would just simply be more powerful. So when that is their main carry right now, who's doing well, it's more winnable as well. But again, mainly I would say this game has been good as a turning point because of comp. I would say Ace himself, again, really needs to make sure he doesn't get himself caught before the fights happen. That's happened a couple of times. Obviously, last fight, he did the good thing and protect the Swain. You know, Taric at the moment has the highest kills in their team. 6-1 Taric, which is kind of wild. Obviously, Nasus is a problem. And if I was the Nasus, if you're wondering, like, you know, what would I do if I was on the enemy team in this game? You know, they were stomping. It's now a lot closer. It's basically even gold at this stage. If I was the Nasus, I would only split push. And people, you go like, Huz, I thought you hate split push. I hate split push when it's the default, when it doesn't make sense. But look at the comps. You're playing Nasus. You're telling me a Nasus wants to group against, well, Alawi in general, but you beat Alawi in the 1v1. Kayn is red Kayn for CC. Gragas has a lot of CC. Swain is, with Riley, you're a Nasus. He's just going to slow you the entire time you're nearby. Ooh, nice. And then Taric brings a lot of CC and brings immunity. You beat the Alawi in a 1v1. Why would you ever group? But again, is this player going to have the knowledge to know I should just split push only? Probably not. I would back out of this because you, again, are a bit outnumbered. Oh, Echo did go a little bit too crazy, though. Big misfortune ult, but Gragas does stop it. Taric ultimate is now absorbed all in the damage. So a lot of big damage that was going to come in then just got completely and utterly ignored. And there's the big melee fight that we spoke about, that the blue team literally doesn't have an answer to. So the Nasus, you know, if the Nasus split pushes, does it mean blue team could win? No, like the 4v4 would still go bad for blue team, but the Nasus should not be grouping. Nasus as a champion sucks with grouping, you know, he just does. So really nice comeback so far. I would say special shout out obviously to red team's bot lane. The Swain and the Taric have really done a good job. To be honest, especially the Taric. The Taric has hit some good stuns, good ultimate, and it's enabling the Swain just to do whatever he wants. So it's good to see. And I'm not even, I would say, I'm not in love with the Swain's build. I wouldn't go Malignance Rush on Swain. I'd probably go more damage orientated, like Leandri's. The Riley's is fantastic against the enemy team because basically, as I said, if you get the enemy in melee, you know, you win. They cannot win. If you get a Misfortune caught with CC, if you get a Lux caught with CC, they're just going to die. So the Riley's is great, but the Malignance, I would say not, personally. And, you know, you can say it's working, and Malignance is forcing Swain to have his ultimate more, and you're winning the game by through these big team fights. So you could say it's okay. Big fight happening though. Lux once again is dead, and Swain now is in demon chicken mode. Gragas uses his TP, and that's how he just appeared, by the way. And this is the point. Nasus is having his grouping fights, but he can't deal with the bird Jesus that's just slowing him and every bit of CC that's around. So again, this is a 3v, basically v5, and the enemy team can't even deal with these three because of just the nature of the game. Red team has got an incredible draft for winning melee. And again, how would you win it if you're blue team? Well, honestly, winning this game is all about positioning. I'd say Nasus needs to split push because he's not going to be useful in a grouping team fight situation. And then the rest of them, it's all about positioning. If you're a Lux and you get caught, if you're a Misfortune and you get caught, well, you're over. It's dead. So it's all about how well you can position. Taric ultimate. Oh, Dust goes down. Taric, though, using his ulti to take all the damage. Meanwhile, again, these two are actually getting an inhib. So that's actually not that bad. Not yet, my. So that's not too bad. So yes, you lose here, but you gain elsewhere. That's one of the most important things that when you watch, and you know, pro play is very different than SOLOQ. Kayn is doing too much, allow TPs over. It's very different, but what you see is still true of League of Legends. The best teams in the world in pro play, if they lose out somewhere, if someone dies on one side of the map, like when you watch T1 in Worlds, they're always gaining elsewhere. Oh, our bot lane died. Okay, well, we got top lane tower. Because usually it's not about, you know, it's about gaining something. So even though it's a negative for you, it's at least neutral. And if anything, you could actually gain more than the enemy team if you get the right thing. That's what you should always try to strive for. And it's hard to do in SOLOQ because, again, you're not a coordinated team at all. So it is a hard thing that you can't force because you need teamwork to make that reality happen more often than not. But I will say Miss Maya is very distracted right now, and we haven't had an appearance on her on camera for a while. So while we've got a bit of downtime, we can go up, and then we have a Miss Maya appearance. You have to like the video. All right, off you get. And guess what, Miss Maya? I can see on my phone, Mummy is home. Go see Mummy. So Baron has been started. Again, I don't mind this Baron, by the way, because this Baron, they have ultimates available. They haven't just had a team fight. Yes, the enemy team is alive, so it is inherently risky. It could get stolen, but I don't mind it. They have control of the game right now. Their comp is better. And what the enemy team, you know, the nature of this game, if they were running to go, we're going to stop them, well, how this game has gone is they can't fight in melee anyway. So you'll be forcing them to do exactly what you want them to do. The only way that was a bad is if realistically it got stolen by like a Lux ult. But that was an okay Baron call. So if I was red team, I wouldn't mess around. I would potentially base, use any gold that you've got, and then I would just go 5-man to top lane, use the Baron buff, and just literally look to end the game. So the enemy team will feel hard pressed this game. You know, they were winning so hard, especially the two solo laners. But I'd say one, the Nasus played wrong in essence. He should have split push and he just didn't. Lux, again, isn't a hyper carry. She just isn't. She's so immobile and like that. She just gets caught so easily. So yeah, realistically, this game was always going to be, it's a good comeback. But it was always going to be a fairly hard game for the enemy team to win, just based on comp. Ace himself did recover his game nicely. He did keep a decent amount of good farm, which again could have been higher, so should be looking to get a bit more farm, I would say, especially in the early game. Again, limit the risks, especially when you're playing something like Kayn. It's a weird duality with Kayn because you do want to fight because you're achieving your form, but the fighting wasn't going very well. So it's kind of like risk versus reward. So overall, not too bad, but this is a great example of a game where comp is such a big thing. But anyway, that's going to be it. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you want, obviously, one of these yourself, if you're from the YouTube audience, and you're like, Huz, I don't come to the stream, but I'd like a spectate. We typically charge 10 gifted subs to these, which is $50 in terms of currency. So if you really wanted one and you're only from the YouTube audience, if you did a $50 super chat and you basically leave your summoner name and your server and your hashtag and everything, I will 100% do one for you. You know, that's completely fine. But that's you know, you don't have to do that. But yeah, but anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully you're having a good festive period with Christmas to come in the next few days. But that is going to be it. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.